Hola y bienvenidos una vez más. Vamos a hablar hoy de circumlocution. So what do I mean when I say circumlocution? This is something I preach to my students so much from, I wouldn't say day one, but almost day one, because it's so helpful in being able to understand and use a language. It is key to being able to move from novice to intermediate and even intermediate to advanced level speaking, just not being able to know words. We can't know every word in the dictionary, and even if we do know every word in the dictionary, we circumlocate all the time in our natural language. So, important question, what is circumlocution? So what is it exactly? Sometimes we just don't have the words. We're trying to think of something and it's just not coming to mind, and we do this in our native tongue all of the time. So let's say you are trying to think of a word. It's not coming to mind. It's on the tip of your tongue, but for some reason no one can read your tongue. So you start describing it in order to tell your friend what you're trying to say. So it's like a chair, but it's not a chair. It's something you sit on, but it's taller than a chair. It's usually at a bar, and your friend gets excited and goes, "Oh, a stool." That would be the word I was looking for. Yep, that's perfect. Well, you just circumlocated. You described what you were trying to say with words you did know. So like I said, this is really key to moving up. If you don't know a word and you can describe that word, you are communicating really well, because it's just not possible to know all of the words, but it is possible to know enough words to describe what you were trying to say. Something else you can do is use a similar word, something that isn't quite the same, but you can't think of the other word, and it will be basically the same thing. Or finally, use a cognate. There are a lot of cognates, and sometimes they really don't work out, but a lot of times they do. So if you're really in need, you can always come up with that one. But I would say stick first to circumlocution because it's going to help you out the most. So what does it look like? Let's start with a description. La cosa roja como una casa para los animales. So if you take away nothing from a circumlocution lesson, the important thing here is la cosa. La cosa means thing. We use thing all the time when we're trying to describe. So la cosa, muy importante. So what is la cosa roja como una casa para los animales? Un granero, a barn, the big red thing that's a house for animals. An example of a similar is, I've heard both of these and I thought they were great. One student wanted to say rain but couldn't think of the word for rain, so he said el cielo llora, the sky cries. Another student wanted to say sun but couldn't think of el sol, so he said la luz and el cielo, the light in the sky. Both those times I knew exactly what my students were trying to tell me. Even though they couldn't think of the word, they described it, they used something similar or along the similar idea. And finally, cognate. One thing that is really cognatey is in English, we have the tion, the shun, and we replace that almost always. Any word that has tion on the end, it's going to be extremely similar to Spanish, except it's going to have cion, sion, or sion on the end instead. Well, that takes us to the end. So once again, I really hope you learned something about circumlocution. You can start using it and practicing it. And as always, if you still have questions, put them below and I will get to them. And of course, if you want to see something else, let me know that as well. Ciao!